Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the Nobody Asked for the. Okay, I don't know. I can't do a whatever type of Dracula accent we're trying to do. Welcome to the Halloween extravaganza episode of the Nobody Asked for This podcast. This is our technically third annual Halloween extravaganza, except I can't remember specifically the last, aka the first two Nobody Asked for This Halloween episode extravaganzas. So, did they happen? I don't know. Did I acknowledge Halloween? I'm sure I did. One sec, there's like a hair in my mouth. I fixed it. Thank you for holding. I don't remember specifically doing a Nobody Asked for This Halloween episode, but I'm sure I did. You're catching me on a good one. I have like 3 wild things just happened to me, okay? And I'm gonna break down the whole thing. But first I'm gonna say I have spent about 3 hours in traffic today. And I actually find that I think if I got the scientists to go through and listen to the Nobody Asked for This podcast, they would be able to tell you which episodes I had sat in traffic for hours and which episodes I hadn't. Because I think the ones where I'm recording on a day where I had just sat in traffic, I think I'm more chatty. I think because I was just sitting there for 3 hours, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours both ways, each time. That obviously gives me time to think and plan, what I'm going to talk about. Now, I can't say that I do that because that would be considered like some sort of preparation, which we all know I don't do. But if you can't tell, I don't really prepare. I just kind of click record and go for it. But it does that, but it also bores me to tears to the point where I'm just so happy to talk to anyone that I will talk to the wall, which is essentially what the Nobody Asked for This podcast is. I'm essentially just talking to the wall, and then maybe someone hears it and maybe they don't. What happens after I click, submit or post kind of has nothing to do with me, and that is the beauty of podcasting. So I'm sitting here drinking a decaf coffee in the old beanbag chair. Now, I wanted to be sitting here, given that it is the Halloween extravaganza, I wanted to be sitting here sipping out of a pumpkin mug, which we're getting to the first wild thing that happened to me this week. So for some reason, I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, all of the Halloween stuff goes on clearance like now, not after Halloween, not like November 4th, not after all of the Spirit of Halloween shops have closed. It goes on to like a couple days before, which doesn't really make sense. My only suggestion, or like my only hypothesis, that's a very fancy word for me, would be maybe they ordered too much at the stores and then wanted to like make sure that they sell it, so they like reduce it to a discounted price. And honestly, everything is so expensive anyway that like, yeah, sure, you're telling me this is 50% off, but you still paid like 3 cents for this. So like really, we're not winning, but they're going to let us think that we're winning. And I think that if we allow them to let us think that we're winning, then we've kind of all won, Like, sure, I'll play the game. I'll pretend like, oh, this is such a good deal. But I know what I know. And it kind of is not a terrible deal. You know what I mean? That either made 100% sense or no sense. But regardless, I was in the store the other day and I saw, this is a mere 2 days ago. And I saw, and then I did other stuff. I had a big week, okay? I really hope I follow through on this episode and discuss my big week and don't just talk about candy corn for 48 minutes. Because sometimes that happens. I'll like actually have a plan, and then it's like minute 27, and I'm like, oh no, but then the spinach wasn't right. So we're gonna keep this train on the tracks, okay? I promise. I was in the store. I looked over at the clearance rack, and there was this what looked to be a pumpkin mug. It was like a pumpkin mug with a top, like with like a lid. And I thought, oh, that's cool. Like maybe I could obviously use it as a mug. I could put some chili in it. We could do a dip. Now, it sounds like I'm like hosting, not only do I host dinner parties, but I'm specifically going to be hosting a Halloween themed dinner party. I'm not. But I might be able to. I might do that, maybe. But I'm not. So I go to record this episode of the Nobody Asked This podcast, which I don't know if I mentioned, but it is the Halloween extravaganza version. So I was like, perfect. I'm going to put my decaf coffee, my 7 p.m. decaf coffee, closer to 8 p.m. decaf coffee in this mug. And I turn it upside down just to like double check and make sure, like I'm assuming, like before I throw away like the sticker, like before I peel the sticker off, like just making sure I'm confirming that like probably can't go in the dishwasher, maybe not the best quality. Again, I did get it for $2.94. So like I was ready to accept whatever that little warning sticker was going to tell me. Never did I ever think that the warning sticker was going to tell me that it was not suitable for hot liquids. What? It's a mug. And it's not like I took it out of context and it's like actually like a bowl. It is a full mug. It is a mug with a handle. And now I'm just kind of brainstorming all the things I can use it for, but they're all hot stuff. It's like, okay, so I can't use it for coffee, but maybe I can use it for oatmeal. Not unless I'm going to eat my oatmeal cold. So it's like, okay, I can't use it for oatmeal, but maybe I can use it for chili. Chili is a hot liquid unless you're eating your chili cold. So unless I'm going to be eating pumpkin spice Cheerios out of this thing, I don't really know why I even bothered paying the $2.99 that I thought was such a good deal. And even, okay, fine, use it as decor. Why does it have a handle? If there was some way for me to like post a picture or a link of this, I would. But like, I don't really do that, so I don't know that it's going to happen, but just trust me when I say it makes no sense. It is a mug. It is a full-blown mug that you cannot put hot liquid in. So I guess I'm just going to be drinking water for the entire lukewarm water with lemon, like an opera singer, for the entirety of tomorrow. Okay, honestly, not the end of the world. I could just put I've put Red Bull in a mug before. That is something I have done, and that was not hot. It was like lukewarm. I'm also really bad at like putting cans in the fridge. Like I'll buy like a case of like sparkling water from the grocery store. And if it's like colder months, the closest I will come to having a like cold beverage, because I'm also not making ice either. I'm that lazy. The closest I have to having a cold beverage is if I just leave the cans like in the car. And then it's like, oh, little afternoon treat, on my 3-hour traffic way home from work. I can have a slightly cold, it's like room temperature, but like the cold version of that, Like, how room temperature is like not fully warm? It's like that, but it's like not fully cold. And so I can have a cold room temperature, Coke flavored, or no, I mess it up every week. Oreo flavored Coke, which I do still have a pack of. So that's the first wild thing that happened to me. The second wild thing that's happened to me is I just came off of a delicious chicken salad sandwich. I realized I'm not eating chicken salad enough. I think I would really implore you, if you are someone who eats meat, to go to a Costco. I guess you have to have a membership. And like now you really have to have a membership, because as we talked about a couple weeks ago, they are turning into the border and scanning us all. But find someone with a Costco membership, or even the regular grocery store has them. Get a rotisserie chicken, shred it. I would recommend, like, when you get home, like, just shred it right away. Like, sometimes you do the thing where it's like, okay, I'll pull off a piece and then I'll like leave it in the, they used to come in containers, now they come in bags. Like, you kind of leave it, and then as you go, get a Tupperware container, shred the whole thing, put it in a nice airtight container. It'll last for a few days, and then just use it as you need it. But a couple days ago, this whole thing ties together. I realized that I had way too much Greek yogurt and needed to use it. Also, this is Costco's fault as well, because their sizes are so big, even though I willingly bought this what is it, like a kilogram and a half thing of yogurt. I very much opted into that and then was confused why I wasn't eating a full kilogram and a half of yogurt before the expiry date. But I realized that the expiry date was coming up. It was like, and the thing with expiry dates is time flies so fast now that like I will read, November 2nd when I'm buying something. And I'm like, oh, that's like 6 months away. But no, apparently that's like next week. So it was the fault of many, including myself. But I'll continue to blame other people for the Greek yogurt. But I realized I had a lot I had to work through. So I was Googling like what to do with Greek yogurt. 2 things came up. One, it said chicken salad. So I seasoned the heck out of Greek yogurt. I was putting sriracha. I was putting, obviously, salt and pepper. I was putting garlic salt. I was putting, and it was like fancy Trader Joe's garlic salt. I was putting Old Bay. I was putting, obviously, ranch seasoning. I was putting sriracha seasoning. I was putting do you know how you can buy sriracha or you can buy it's in the smaller canister and it's like a spicy sauce? I was putting that. I was putting banana peppers. The banana peppers went on top, but I was putting like jalapeno. I put a little bit of the jalapeno juice just for some acid, I was putting Frank's Red Hot. I was putting Creole seasoning. I was putting Cajun seasoning. It tasted delicious. And I had originally made that a couple days ago to put on a burrito, I think, use it as sour cream for a burrito. And then I didn't end up using it. But I think the marination process in the fridge for 48 hours really got it to a point where it needed to be. And it was perfect for me to just plop some Costco rotisserie chicken in, mix it all together, toast some bread, and we were good to go. It was delicious. I think everyone should have a chicken salad sandwich. I think that's going to be my Halloween. Isn't tonight because peek behind the curtain, I'm recording this October 30th. Isn't that supposed to be like wild night, like everyone's houses are getting egged and stuff? I think that's going to be the official day for the chicken salad for me. And just to clarify, not chicken salad like I'm eating lettuce, like chicken salad like good salad, like Jell-O salad, or what's like ambrosia salad, where it's just like Cool Whip. Whoever decided that adding Cool Whip to something and like maybe some sour cream would then allow you to use the term salad is my hero. Because it really doesn't make any sense. What is the clinical definition of the word salad? Salad is a dish consisting of mixed ingredients, frequently vegetables. Okay, so it says frequently, but not only. So just mixed ingredients. So really anything can be a salad. You too can be a salad. I am a salad. Word salad. I'm actually not bad at word salad. And I mean, clearly, I have 120 something episodes of the Nobody Asked for this podcast, and I don't think I've said anything of substance yet. Like maybe once or twice, but my track record's not great. Okay, so that was the second wild thing that happened to me. The third wild thing, I finally did it. I went to the pumpkin patch. I did it. I've been saying for weeks I was going to do it. I did it. Now, I do want to recap sort of the whole experience, because I think when you hear like, oh, we're going to the pumpkin patch, you think like group of friends, maybe it's like a date. No, I went on my own to a pumpkin patch, and I think you should too. Now, the problem is pumpkin patches, I actually think I should work at a pumpkin patch, and we'll get to that later, but the hours in the schedule would work for me. They open like earliest middle of September, a lot of times closer to the beginning of October, and they are done by November, by like October 31st. Maybe they do November 1st, November 2nd, but other than that, they're gone. They're done. Which makes me sad, because I really wish fall stretched just a little bit more into November. In terms of like pumpkins and stuff, I feel like after Halloween, people are really over pumpkins. And I found myself in a place, I don't know if I started too late, even though I've been talking about fall for 3 months, but like, I'm not ready to say goodbye to fall. Now you could be saying, Francesco, you don't have to say goodbye to fall. Fall's really only been started for a month. But like, I used to be so team like November 1st is Christmas or like the holiday season. And I don't want to go back, but like I have to acknowledge where I've changed. And I think like I could do another week or two of like fall. Fall in a colloquial sense, like fall, like cultural fall. Like obviously the season of fall lasts basically until actual Christmas, but like I could use a week or two of like candy corn and, watching scary movies. Now you can obviously watch a scary, I can do any of this. I can actually, what I'm asking for, I can grant myself, but like I also can't deal with the stress of feeling like the holiday season is passing me by and I'm not in full force. The only downside of the months between September to December is I feel like I have to be so zoned in on like whatever the theme is. Whereas March, April, May, like I'm just doing what I want. I'm reading the books I want. I'm watching the movies I want. But like for some reason, September 1st rolls around and I'm like, I'm wasting time not watching like a Halloween movie, a scary movie. And I've actually been pretty decent at upholding my vow to myself to watch Halloween movies. And I've really enjoyed it. And I've gotten good at like, oh, this movie sucks, we're on to the next. And I'll recap some of those movies, especially the ones that suck, next. But I'm going to finish on the pumpkin patch story. I needed a pumpkin. I needed a pumpkin to show the neighborhood that this is a friendly house. This is a house that is going to have candy for you. And just to get to the end of the story, I ended up picking up a fake pumpkin that was on the same rack as what I thought to be pumpkin mug. And now I'm getting worried that it's like that the outdoor pumpkin furniture is going to tell me like not for outside use. Maybe I can use that one as the mug, and then I can use the fake mug, as decor. Like I'm still not over the mug, although I kind of am. I really, it was $2. I'm not gonna spin out over $2, but it was really upsetting in the moment. Either way, I got on my best plaid outfit, also from Costco. My boots from Costco, probably like a jogger, maybe like, I can't remember exactly what I wore. Full Costco outfit, and I walked up to this pumpkin patch. And, every once in a while, like, God, the universe, the heavens, just, they help you out. I was dressed identically, is that a word? Identically to the employees of this pumpkin patch. So I really just fully blended in. There were other people there. Now let me explain. I had a random day off, so it was like 2 p.m. on a Monday, which is where I thrive. Like, how you can take a blood test and it'll tell you, I think this is true, I might have made it up, in which case I'm running a dystopian novel, but do you know how you can take a blood test and it'll tell you like, or maybe it's 23andMe, will tell you like you thrive at like like you should wake up at 9:07 a.m. Like that's when your like rhythmic clock or whatever, your circadian rhythm, I don't know, is like in line. Mine is definitely like at 2 p.m. Specifically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday to Sunday, it's like kind of up and down, as is most things. But like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that kind of early afternoon, if I could just pause there, I would get so much done. So I roll up at this pumpkin patch, Costco outfit, and I realize immediately I look like these people. Now, the pumpkin patch I selected was very particular. It's one I'd been to before. It was not a far drive. Like if I had driven 45 minutes to go to like the next best pumpkin patch alone, like that's a bit much. But I was like, it's just down the road. Like I could have walked if I wanted to. I didn't, but I could have. We all know about the chicken broth walk from last week. If not, listen to last week's episode. I stroll in. Again, it's one I had been to before. So I was aware that like it really was like a store. It was a store that also had like enough patch and corn maze to qualify as a pumpkin patch. But I could look at it more as like a patch of pumpkins, which going to a patch of pumpkins alone with the purpose of getting a pumpkin is not anything to complain about. Like it was, I felt comfortable the entire time. Now maybe that was just me, So I walk in, I'm looking at all the pumpkins, I'm taking pictures with the, not Sasquatch, the scarecrows. I dipped a toe into the corn maze. I'm like walking up and down the fields. Now, what I did notice, as I was saying earlier, is these places don't last long because there were like barely any viable pumpkins because it's all about the pumpkin seeds. So I'm going to have to run to the store probably tomorrow and just see if they have one because I'm going to have to make pumpkin seeds. Those are the best. The roasted pumpkin seeds are the best. I did get, just in case, I did get a mini, very small pumpkin, real, that I guess I'm assuming you can put hot liquid in, that I just have on my desk just for fun, just for vibe. So I could definitely get some pumpkins out of that one. And then I remember a couple years ago, I bought a pumpkin from the grocery store and it literally sat in the basement for like 6 months and did not rot. Also, are pumpkin seeds available year-round? And I know you can buy them from the store, but is that the same thing as like if I took that, put cinnamon sugar, and put it in the oven, is that going to net the same result as if you got it from a fresh pumpkin? I wonder. But anyway, I was at this pumpkin patch. I feel like I got the full pumpkin patch experience. There were other people. No one looked to be alone. They were all like in groups of 2 or more. I was happy for them. I wasn't bitter or jealous. I picked up a little pumpkin. I picked up a spaghetti squash because I wanted to make a spaghetti squash situation that I have not made yet. And I picked up I believe it is called a delicata squash. I don't know. I learned about it from Trader Joe's, so I'm going to make that too. So hopefully this will help extend the fall season a couple more weeks. I feel like I'm going to have to hurry because I don't know how long squashes last, like in a paper bag in my room. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask Siri on that one. But yeah, it was a 10 out of 10 pumpkin patch experience. Truly. I would recommend it, and I can't wait for next year. I hope I get to go alone next year. Fingers crossed. Also, I'm still kind of thinking about that chicken salad. That was pretty good. On the toasted bread. I love a sandwich. There's literally nothing more that I love than a sandwich. Which, speaking of, I was semi-gaslit by Subway, but they've since rectified the situation. So I was driving around on Sunday. So this was the day before the pumpkin patch. Yeah, one day BP before pumpkin. BPP before pumpkin patch. And I saw through my window that they were advertising on a poster in their own window. So there was a lot of windows happening. It was also pouring rain, so like I couldn't fully read it. But they were advertising their holiday menu, which was some sort of holiday sandwich I couldn't make out, which I was hoping and assumed was like turkey with stuffing and cranberry sauce, like the classic. I was like, oh, finally, they got on board. Because up until now, as far as I was concerned, they didn't have that. So they were advertising some sort of sandwich, a red velvet cookie, I believe a gingerbread cookie, that's what I was able to see, and potato rings. Now, I don't know if the potato ring fits into the holidays, but those 2 cookies are like 2 of my favorite flavors. Gingerbread, I love. I eat just raw gingerbread dough, the Pillsbury kind. You're allowed to eat it, don't worry. It doesn't taste as good since they've made it eligible for just eating raw. Like when they added the raw egg before and like probably had like didn't bleach the flour correctly, like it tasted better. Just being fully honest. Like at least the raw dough did. Maybe the cooked dough, there was no difference. Not sure. Anyway, they had a foot-long gingerbread cookie for the holidays, a regular size red velvet cookie, some sort of sandwich, and the potato rings. Now, again, the potato rings, I was like, am I reading that correctly? Like, it doesn't look like an onion ring. It looks like a potato, and I think it says it. Now, I had been contemplating going to the eye doctor for the last probably 5 years, because I maybe haven't gone since COVID. Oops. I should do that. I'm going to do that anyway. But there was a second after I was reading that sign that I was like, oh, if I can read that, like, I actually probably don't need glasses. Because up until that, I was like, starting to question my eyesight. Like, it's always been up where it needs to be. And recently I'm like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I can't read that. But after, where there's a will, there's a way. I was able to read potato rings off of a Subway menu through 2 planes of glass and the rain. And like kind of foggy because my air conditioning in my car doesn't work as good as it should to be able to clear all that fog. Regardless, I Google, Subway holiday menu. Not only does nothing come up, the only thing that does come up is that they're coming out with a peppermint footlong cookie like in another country. And I was like, what? So I was specifically Googling like gingerbread cookie. And then I finally found trace of the potato ring. So I was like, okay, they have the potato ring. So this thing does exist. But then I was Googling like holiday sandwich, like stuffing sandwich, like nothing was coming up. I was going on their app. You couldn't order any of this for like 2 days. So I was like, okay, I'm nuts. Like I'm crazy. And then I drove past a couple different other Subways because the Subway I originally saw, it was like not like my home Subway. So I was like, maybe I just kind of lost it a little bit. Like, was I hallucinating? I hadn't gone to the pumpkin patch yet. Maybe I hadn't like reached, higher levels of peace and intellect. I'm happy to report I went on the app today. All of that does exist. Besides the fact of, and I knew I sort of conjectured, I put my own spin on what the holiday sandwich was going to be. It is a turkey sandwich, but it's like sliced deli turkey, and it is a cranberry Dijon. Now, I'm going to assume again that they mean cranberry Dijon mustard, which is not as good as cranberry sauce. I would assume. I have not tried it. But like they also never said it was mustard. They just said it was cranberry Dijon. So I'm going to try it hopefully tomorrow or maybe Friday because as a good... no, I'm going to try it in a week as like a bridge between the two. I'm going to watch Nightmare Before Christmas and eat the cranberry Dijon sandwich as a bridge between both holidays. I've never seen that movie. Although, speaking of movies and Greek yogurt, I did make Greek yogurt pumpkin bagels because I had pumpkin puree that I had to use, and then I Googled what to do with Greek yogurt, and apparently you can make Greek yogurt or bagels out of Greek yogurt. Now, I have done it, and I still say apparently because I'm not 100% certain that it worked. I don't think I rolled the bagels properly, so like the dimensions it weren't the best for cooking. So like after it had already baked, I kind of had to like cut them open and then like do like open face on the baking sheet so that it would cook the inside because the inside were raw. But then I was like, oh, this is Greek yogurt. Like you can eat this raw. So it was kind of a mess. I also decided to turn on, my TV for some reason was stuck on Disney Plus. So I was like, okay, I guess I got to watch Disney Plus. So I was watching Hocus Pocus. Is that what it's called? And by watching, I was like really like half in because I was too busy messing up the pumpkin bagel. So I can't really tell you the plot of that movie, but I have technically seen it. Which brings me to the other movies I watched. I watched the beginning of 2 movies in the last couple days. I watched the beginning of The Exorcist and the beginning of Insidious. Both of them, like, I only watched the beginning, not because they were scary, but because it was just... I felt like I was like, okay, I'm good. Like, I got it. Your house is haunted. I might go back to The Exorcist because I feel like I didn't get to the part where the head spinning. I've seen clips of that, so maybe I'd want to watch that. But at a certain point, like, all these movies are the same, and I really, like, I'm pretty desensitized to, like, spooky, usually... knock on wood, and not like gory. Gory, I want no part of. Like, I can handle it, but like, I'm not like, oh yeah, let's watch gory movies. Like, I think that's like, I mean, to each their own, but like, if your thing is like, I love watching gory movies, like, I think that, again, to each their own. I don't know. But yeah, so those 2 I started. What else did I watch? I sort of watched Hocus Pocus. I watched one on Netflix that was pretty good. It was like another possession one. Don't you love these thorough recaps? I watched Smile. Smile was good. That one came out a couple years ago. Although streaming services are doing this thing where the same movie will be on like 3 different streaming services. I remember when my life was over because we only had Netflix, and then like there would be a movie that I was halfway watching, and like now that movie was on Amazon Prime, and we didn't have Amazon Prime, and I didn't have a credit card to get Amazon Prime. So it's like, well, I guess I'll never finish, Wonder Pets season 2. But now like there's just like multiple platforms, that's a dramatic word, but there's multiple websites that have the exact same movie. And I don't know, did something change? I feel like that was never allowed before. What other movies did I watch? I'm in a pretty good rhythm of like finishing a movie every other day. I can't seem to remember any other films that I watched. Oh, I watched The Shining. That one I didn't understand to the point where like I bought the book, so I think I might read the book. I don't know. I enjoyed the vibes. I just like didn't get what was happening. I'm not good at like I kind of need a movie to talk to me like I'm 5. Like I can't really infer things much. I'm good about not being on my phone, but like again, I kind of just need you to spell it out like just a little bit, not to the point where it's like makes the dialogue annoying and they're like, well, we have to do this because this, and then we're going to say that. Like, I don't need it to be like Barney, like spelling everything out, but like I need it to be like a little bit obvious. I'm bad at inferring like, oh, was that fake? Like, was that like a dream-like sequence? I'm not good with dream-like sequences. And like The Shining was a lot of that. But again, I enjoyed what was happening. And I had actually started that movie 2 years ago, so... and I did just pick back up where I started, so maybe I missed some exposition in the beginning 20 minutes that I watched in 2022. But yeah, there's that. I think that's all, but for me, that's good. Like 5 movies in a month, 3.5 movies, whatever it was, that's like more movies than I've watched the past 2 years. So I was proud of myself. And I don't know what that says about me, that like that is a point of pride of like, I didn't just go on my phone for 2 hours. Like I watched a movie. So I'm hopefully going to watch one more tonight and then one more tomorrow. And then I can kind of just let myself, gravitate towards the content I want until maybe 2 weeks from now when I'm going to start being, peer pressuring myself into watching Christmas movies. See what the Hallmark channel's cooking up. Netflix has decided to be Hallmark. It's all happening. Maybe I can make some footlong gingerbread cookies at Subway. I'm going to try the cranberry Dijon. And do you know what? This is technically the Halloween extravaganza, but because we've declared fall an extra week, wait, am I going to have a gingerbread latte in the next week? I'm going to wait a week. I'm telling you, Halloween will end at the end of the next episode of the Nobody Asked For This podcast. I'm going to give myself an extra week specifically of Halloween. Then I'm going to give a week of general fall, and then it'll be Christmas or holidays and music and all that. So I like that plan. So think of this as like part 1 of the Halloween extravaganza, and then next week I'll recap the full Halloween. Give you my ranking on Reese's peanut butter cups and shapes. I got to start doing some advent calendar scouting. I'm excited. This is going to be a good day. Also, I don't know if I shared. I definitely didn't share. But I was really desperate for a pumpkin yogurt from Trader Joe's. Just one more for the season. And I went to the store a couple days ago and they were sold out. So that was a low of the week. There were some highs, but there were also some lows. In conclusion, in summary, I hope everyone has a happy and safe Halloween. I hope you watch all the scary movies. I hope you don't feel peer pressure to participate in any holidays, especially peer pressure from thy own self. Watch what you want to watch. I can't take my own advice, but I can hope that you do. I hope your Halloween costumes are great. Or not. If it's just a random Thursday for you, I hope you have a great random Thursday. I hope the fireworks that people illegally set off do not send your pets into a tizzy. I've never really had a pet or a dog or anything, but I feel like that's like tizzy inducing. And yeah, thank you for listening to the Halloween Pumpkin Patch Extravaganza edition of me talking to a wall. If you like what you heard, you can go to podcastnobodyaskedforthis.podbean.com. On there, you can find links to our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. And yeah, I will be here reporting live for a full Halloween recap, a full send off to the Halloween season, and a look ahead at the remainder of fall and the holiday season. Maybe I will have tried cranberry Dijon assuming mustard. Maybe not. Maybe I'll have had a pumpkin scone made with or without Greek yogurt. I'm not sure. I do want to have a pumpkin scone. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe that'll be my Halloween breakfast. I know I talked about my fruitcake Nanaimo bar Christmas morning breakfast, but I think the pumpkin scone will be my Halloween breakfast, and I very much look forward to it and encourage you all, no matter what, to do the same. So, have a great night. Have a great week. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk soon.